Today we will learn about how the immune system, stress, and nutritional genomics work together in autoimmune diseases. Autoimmune diseases are health conditions that occur when your immune system attacks your body instead of defending it. There are 4 immune cells involved in autoimmune responses, which are macrophages, dendritic cells, B cells, and T cells. Macrophages usually clear dead cells, but in autoimmune diseases they don't function normally. This failure to clear dead cells leads to a buildup in debris and exposes self-antigens, which fuels autoantibody production. They become overly inflammatory and release cytokines that sustain chronic inflammation and activate B and T cells. Macrophages then present self-antigens more aggressively and shift toward the M1 state. This impacts immune control and increases tissue damage. In autoimmune diseases, dendritic cells lose their normal tolerance-promoting function. They present self-antigens with stronger activation signals, which activates autoreactive T cells instead of keeping them inactive. Overactive dendritic cells also produce inflammatory cytokines that amplify the immune response and sustain chronic inflammation. This breakdown in regulation allows dendritic cells to help initiate and maintain autoimmune attacks. Usually, B cells produce antibodies that target pathogens and activate other immune cells to strengthen the inflammatory response. In autoimmune diseases, B cells contribute to autoimmune diseases when they mistakenly recognize the body's own tissues as harmful. These misdirected B cells multiply and produce autoantibodies that attack healthy cells, and they can also activate other immune cells to join the response. This self-targeted activity drives the development and progression of autoimmune diseases. T cells normally recognize specific pathogens and coordinate immune defense while maintaining immune balance. The 3 types are CD4+, CD8+, and regulatory T cells. T cells mistakenly recognize the body's own tissue as foreign and they become overactivated, leading to the release of inflammatory cytokines. CD4+ T cells overstimulate other immune cells, which the worsens attack. CD8+ T cells directly damage healthy cells. Tregs become dysfunctional, so the immune system loses control, and this results in chronic inflammation and tissue damage. What do you think causes the immune system to lose control? Long-term stress causes dysregulation of immune cells, like B and T cells. It also causes other detrimental effects on the body. Stress hormones like cortisol change immune signaling. Chronic stress increases inflammation and worsens autoimmune flares. Cortisol is the body's main stress hormone. In short bursts, it helps us maintain blood glucose for quick energy and raises blood pressure temporarily. It also helps sustain norepinephrine and epinephrine, and it lowers inflammation in cells briefly. Glucocorticoid resistance happens when cells stop responding to cortisol after being exposed to it for too long. Normally, cortisol calms inflammation, but when resistance develops, cortisol can't do its job. Inflammation stays high, and the immune system becomes overactive and dysregulated. Long-term stress creates a paradox where cortisol stays high but inflammation also stays high. This happens because immune cells adapt to the constant cortisol and become less sensitive to it. Glutamine is a key amino acid that supports immune cells and keeps the gut lining strong. During stress, the body burns through glutamine fast, which can weaken the gut barrier and increase inflammation. For people with autoimmune issues, low glutamine can make the immune system more reactive and contribute to flare-ups. So when stress depletes glutamine, it can make inflammation and autoimmune problems worse. Stress weakens immune tolerance by reducing the effectiveness of Treg cells, which normally prevent the immune system from overreacting. At the same time, other immune cells become more active than they should be. This imbalance makes it harder for the body to control inflammation and increases the risk of autoimmune flare-ups. Persistent inflammation can cause and exacerbate autoimmune disease. Stress can worsen symptoms and trigger immune flare-ups. Along with stress, unhealthy eating patterns can also cause or exacerbate autoimmune diseases and flare-ups. Unhealthy eating plays a particularly large role in something called nutritional genomics.
Nutritional genomics looks at 2 sides of the diet-gene relationship. Nutrigenomics studies how nutrients change gene activity, while nutrigenetics examines how your unique genetic makeup affects your response to food. Together, they help explain why autoimmune flare-ups can vary so much between people. Nuclear receptors are important because they act as nutrient sensors. They detect what we eat and turn immune-related genes on or off. This helps control inflammation and immune balance, and when their signaling is weak, autoimmune risk increases. A balanced, healthy diet is important because it keeps nuclear receptor signaling strong, helping the immune system stay regulated. Vitamin D is important for nuclear receptor regulation in the immune system. It activates the VDR receptor on immune cells, which controls over 200 immune genes that reduce inflammation and support immune balance. When vitamin D is low, autoimmune flare risk increases. Omega-3 and omega-6 fats also play important roles in autoimmune health. Omega-3 activates PPARs to turn off inflammatory genes and reduce autoimmune flare triggers. It also supports immune tolerance and helps prevent mistaken self-attack, improving flare severity in conditions. Omega-6 has the opposite effect. It activates inflammatory pathways, increases cytokines, and can worsen autoimmune flare severity when it's too high. SNPs are small DNA variations that change how enzymes and receptors work, and this makes them important in autoimmune health. These differences affect how people absorb and respond to nutrients, which can weaken immune signaling and lower tolerance. As a result, some people experience stronger autoimmune flare-ups even on the same diet. Beyond SNPs, other genetic differences can change how nutrients are processed and how inflammation is controlled. These variations also help explain why autoimmune flare severity and diet response differ between people. A healthy lifestyle helps calm autoimmune activity. Eating anti-inflammatory foods, supporting gut health, and managing stress all help to improve autoimmune health.